best interest and the decency. There's over 100 plus people. They're catching flights. They're going to see their family, their kids. They're getting
Please
to
be
take them.
considerate.
And look, I respect you.
Please be considerate.
Alcohol is a dangerous drug.
Consider yourself and the rest of us.
He's not listening.
Once again, folks, please make sure to grab your items.
Whatever.
Everything was moving right on schedule, but midway to the runway, this massive aircraft suddenly came to a complete halt. There was no technical issue, and the weather was clear. The unexpected stop was entirely due to one passenger who simply refused to end their phone conversation. This act of stubbornness and ego brought the journey of over 100 people to a standstill. The passenger in question was 46-year-old Shannon Marie Harris, traveling that day in business class on Delta Flight 1323. As the plane began taxiing, flight attendants were giving critical safety instructions, but the calm was broken by Shannon, who was loudly engrossed in a phone call. A flight attendant approached her and politely requested that she end the call, explaining that regulations required her phone to be off as the aircraft prepared for takeoff. However, Shannon ignored the instructions completely. This was just the start of the escalation. The crew repeated their request several times, urging her to end the call, but she adamantly refused to comply with the simple safety rule. At this point, it wasn't just about the phone call. Shannon became visibly agitated, and her aggressive attitude turned this into a serious compliance issue. The rules are unambiguous. Once the aircraft doors are closed, and especially during taxiing and takeoff, phone use is strictly prohibited unless it's in airplane mode. Shannon showed no regard for these critical regulations. The atmosphere inside the cabin quickly grew tense, as over 100 passengers realized their journey was being stalled by one person. Other passengers became uneasy. They were simply waiting to get home to their families and children, hoping this disruption would finally end. Finally, one passenger gathered the courage to speak up and politely said, "Please think about others. There are over 100 people on this plane." But Shannon didn't even flinch, displaying total indifference and continued stubbornness toward the crew and her fellow travelers. This incident serves as a stark reminder of the importance of compliance and respect for aviation safety. Recapping the event, one person's refusal to hang up her phone, driven by stubbornness and ego, resulted in the complete halt of an entire flight. Disrespecting the crew and safety regulations has severe consequences, leading to delays and major disruptions for everyone on board. This is the story of how one unfinished phone call led to handcuffs and a massive fine. Stay tuned to hear about the disruptive incident that emptied an entire Delta flight. The tension was building rapidly. On board a Delta flight, a passenger's defiance was escalating, turning the frustration of those nearby into mounting anger. Suddenly, an echo turned into a cabin-wide chant. Passengers began shouting, "Get her off the plane!" as patients ran out over the unruliness. The situation was beyond the crew's control. The captain was forced to make a drastic decision. The flight was halted, and the aircraft turned around. Instead of taking off, the plane headed back to the gate at Miami International Airport, where it came to a complete stop. A Delta Airline supervisor boarded the aircraft and instructed the defiant passenger Shannon to leave. But her stubbornness had not faded. Once again, the passenger refused to deplane. The airline had no other option but to escalate security protocols. An announcement was made. Due to one person's refusal, all passengers would need to gather their belongings and exit the aircraft, emptying the entire plane. As passengers filed out, the consequences were waiting. Miami-Dade police officers were standing by, and as soon as Shannon exited, she was taken into custody. Shannon was charged with trespassing. She was later released on a $500 bond and is scheduled to appear in court on May 15th. The legal troubles don't end there. For violating regulations and interfering with the flight crew, she could face a heavy civil penalty of up to $14,000. While Shannon faced arrest, the other passengers endured about an hour delay in their journey, a significant disruption caused by one person. Delta Airlines reiterated their commitment. The safety of passengers and crew is paramount, and they maintain a zero-tolerance policy for this kind of behavior. This incident proves how one person's ego and one small act of stubbornness can disrupt the lives of many, leading to handcuffs and heavy penalties.